Hello there, this is Sam Fisher. Today I thought I'd start with a bit of a history lesson. History of a word. The word ruthless. Now believe it or not, this dates back from Roman times. All to do with the war against the Cathars. Now, Cathars lived in southern France, I think it was southeastern France-ish. And the Romans were having a lot of trouble with them. But they were always on the bound, Cathars, always on the bound. Because of a sort of dignitary in the royal court of the Cathar nation, which is called a Reuth. Now the Reuth set law, set doctrine, set methods of behaviour, so on and so forth, and generally kept the people in line. Now, this Reuth could be anyone, could be male or female. They were quite a woke society when you think about it. They respected him, and he kind of sort of had more of a standing than the king did, you know what I mean? Anyway, I think he was a king called Ruthless, Cathar king. One day, after a couple of 100 years of this and going very well, Ruthless was a bit sort of jealous of the way the Reuth was taking attention away from him, from his people, and they followed what he said more than anyone else. So he killed him, as any up and coming dictator would do. Take out anyone else who threatens the power. Now, unfortunately for Ruthless, he did this at the same time as the Romans were making one last push through Gaul to the Cathar side of France. And when they arrived at the battlefield, they found a very sort of angry, baying, highly emotional army. It was erratic, running everywhere, but willing to do anything at all costs to save their country, no matter what. And when the Roman centurions looked out, I think it was a guy called Maximus Aurelius. He said, "What's wrong with the Cathar people? It's not normally what we see from them." And he was told by one of his decurions, which is like a squad leader, "We have discovered that they are without their Reuth. They are ruthless." Of course, after a while, as is always what happens with the English language, we adapted to change it, and it became slowly over time ruthless. A lack of Ruth, or a lack of Reuth. It's also, believe it or not, as well, the Cathars and their erratic behaviour running around all over the place, where we get the word cathartic from as well. A irrational way of moving in all directions, a perceived irrational way of moving in all directions everywhere. Why am I telling you this? Well, what I just told you is a good example of how mainstream media works. See, what I've just told you there is in part true and also false. The word ruthless doesn't come from the Cathars, and the Cathars I don't think were around during Roman times. Also, Maximus Aurelius isn't gladiator. The Cathars were actually wiped out by, I think it was Pope Gregory, during the same time that he was killing all the Templars. Now, the bit about catharsis, or catharsism, true. Here's where we get that word from, catharsis, or the perceived perception of the catharsis at the time. It's not Ruthless, there's nothing to do with reviews, I made that up. And that's what the mainstream media does. Whenever you see something on the news, there is always an element of truth, but 70% of it is lies, or mistruths, or omissions of certain information to fit a certain narrative. At the moment, it is a very globalist-centric narrative that they are sort of pushing at the moment. Not a single news organisation is actually a news organisation. They are all propaganda organisations. Propagandists. Yeah? Not one single journalist or so-called journalist in the whole of the MSM has done a day's journalism in their lives. They are taught from day one at college, when they start doing journalism and media studies, to be propagandists, to follow a set rule set narrative, and never question. Which is why when you get people like, okay, he's not always on our side, but someone like Tucker Carlson going against the mainstream narrative, probably because it fits Fox's agenda. Quite a surprise. Which is why people like me, people like Citizen X, people like Vindicator, people like we got a problem. Most of the above mentioned will call themselves import activists. Mostly commentators, political commentators, who try to be as impartial as they can and as objective as they can, or at least I hope they do. They seem to be doing at the moment. See how long that lasts. I myself, I'm a journalist. I look at each side of a coin, weigh up the pros and cons, and leave the opinion up to you. Or at least that's how I used to do things. As a journalist as well, I don't just look at news stories. Graham Hancock is, I don't know if you've heard of Graham Hancock, was famously stated on numerous occasions. Reporters report. That could be in anything. Anyway, I'll just leave you with this a second and I'll be back. So what we've just seen there is a small sort of example of a very well-known sort of podcast by Joe Rogan, featuring Randall Carlson, Graham Hancock, and a guy called Michael Sherman. Why am I showing you this? Well, it's to drive the point home, in a way, in a sense. Not to believe everything you read, or everything you see, or everything you hear. Otherwise you're going to end up like Michael Sherman, who can't see the wood from the trees. As evidence, slap bang in front of him, they still can't see the wood from the trees. This is 90% of the world's population. This is what we're up against. Most of you are asleep. Most of you don't care. And that's troubling. Really troubling. Without realising it, most people are giving up their freedom every single day, more and more. No, they don't care. As long as they can watch X Factor, go for a pint, maybe meet some girl, have more of a pint, more X Factor, more bullshit on the telly, go old and die. Except you won't be going old and die, because you've been filled full of chemicals in your food, GMOs, all sorts. What I'm going to show you next is a bit of a video by a guy called Jeff Censored about aspartame. Something I recommend that every single person tries to cut out of the diet as soon as possible. Which means, unfortunately, when you go shopping, you're going to have to look at the labels. Thankfully, in Britain, they have to tell you every single thing that's in them. Now, the mainstream narrative will have you believe that small amounts of aspartame are harmless, which is true. It would be harmless if it wasn't in absolutely everything. That's the problem. That's how he gets you. Same with fluoride in the water. Supposedly Britain stopped fluoridating the water some time ago. The EU followed suit. But it's still in bottled water. Any imported bottled water that you get from America, full of fluoride. Anything with sweeteners, artificial sweetener, aspartame. The stuff is nasty. I used to get very, very, almost crippling IBS, severe headaches, all sorts. Once you cut aspartame out of my diet, done. All of it. It's the cause of cancers, embolisms, you name it, aneurysms. So many health defects, so many health problems. It is unbelievable. And when Donald Rumsfeld passed it through in the US Senate to allow Monsanto to do this, and Bayer, he knew that the stuff was highly toxic. That's why you're getting your sweeteners, guys. Stop using sweeteners. Diet Coke, stop drinking diet drinks full of aspartame. You're killing yourself. You think you're losing weight with Diet Coke? Are you fucked? Diet Cokes are designed to make you hungry, make you more thirsty, make you drink more, make you eat more. It's all a fucking ploy. This isn't conspiracy theory, people, this is real. Yeah? When you see this, you really will look into what you're into. What you're looking at. Hopefully, save some lives. Same as with the vaping. Trying to put scare stories out about vaping at the minute. The only reason why is because the WHO came out years ago and said that they were saving loads and loads of lives. And that's not what they want. So you're dying as soon as possible. So why governments are taking over the distribution of them. And they say they've got formaldehyde in, they don't want to make it, but they will. Not my words. And they'll ban them. They get people to stop using them. That's not what the guy who made them actually wanted. In fact, the guy who made them actually lives not too far from me. The guy who actually invented them. Believe it or not. Not far from here at all. And he knew what he was doing when he was making them. Yeah? Don't listen to them. Mainstream doesn't have your best interests at heart. It never fucking will. That goes doubly for the BBC. Well, triply for the BBC. Doubly for Channel 4. By and large, ITN. There isn't a single news organisation in the whole of Britain that you can trust. Go to alternative sources, research everything yourself. I know it seems like a lot of work and you can't be asked. Do it. Because you'll fucking thank Christ that you did. I'll tell you now. No, I'm not saying that in a religious way, I mean that. You'll realise it's the best thing you ever did. Anyway, thanks a lot. Like, subscribe. See you all later. Shockingly, although very likely not really that shockingly, YouTube won't allow me to put the Jeff censored video or any clips of it or transcribe it onto the end of this video. So, what I have done is what follows in a second is a link. If you follow that, you'll end up at the right place. But I'll also leave you links to his other stuff, which is just incredible. The guy is probably one of the most censored channels on YouTube, and it's because he's telling the truth. At the end of the day, he's trying to help save your life. Trust me, everything he says you can verify and see for yourself, and they're from credible sources, not from pseudo-scientists or crackpots as everyone else would have you believe. They are credible, scientific, peer-reviewed in some cases, sources. Anyway, like I said, the link follows. Alright, sorry about this. YouTube at it again. Alright, see you later.